Board of Supervisor member Valencia Jones, would you please ask the next question?
Thank you. Dr. Tate, please discuss your commitment to and experience enhancing diversity, including diversity as it relates to underrepresented groups, as well as diversity of thought, experience, et cetera.
Let me begin with the diversity of thought because that's often ignored. I believe the university is a place where ideas are central. I told you truth seeking is a paramount part of my value system. As a result of that, I understand that people will come with different thoughts. When I was an instructor or a teacher, I always asked my students to frame their remarks as whether or not they were based upon something they think or whether it's based upon some empirical evidence, and to justify it based upon the evidence to bear or a logic. And even if people didn't agree, I asked for the most civil of engagements. The best example I've ever seen of this is during my time at the Washington University during the Stem Cell Initiative. Amendment was put forth about embryonic stem cells. 2 faculty members at the university, both Christian men, both scientists, went on a tour debating the merits, and one for and one against, and they went around the state of Missouri to model how to disagree in a civil fashion. So I'm 100% starting with that, because if we don't have that, we don't have a university. That's foundational. With respect to student diversity and the like, obviously I'm committed to that because I've actually been a beneficiary, and it would be shameful if I wasn't. But let me speak to specific things. In 2014, I was in St. Louis, Missouri, when Michael Brown was killed. Our university got together and asked, what are we going to do about it? It was stunning to me because I had spent the period of time between 2002 and 2014 studying St. Louis, which is the only majority minority county outside of the Deep South. And here we are asking, what are we going to do? The thing that I responded with, and what I told my colleagues then when I was on the university's cabinet, was that there were outstanding researchers and scholars and practitioners at Washington University who had been studying these matters for years. We had never even brought them together to have a conversation about how their research and development activities were applicable to making our community better. And so that's what we did. And we did it, and I chaired that, co-chaired that with the Dean of Law and our Student Affairs VP for about a 5-year run. We ultimately wrote a book bringing all those best practices together and laying out how, and we called it the Day of Dialogue and Discovery. And each year we had a different theme. But our point was we can model how to do this, and that's what the university should do. As a dean in the graduate school and here at the University of South Carolina, I have used the budget process to enhance fellowships that are devoted to students who are underrepresented in the academy. The Olin Graduate Fellowship was one of the most important ones that I engaged with at Washington University. That was the largest network of women working on professional degrees in the United States. I also worked with the Chancellor's Graduate Fellowship Program, which was focused on initially African-American students, and then it went to African-American students and those who were interested in studying people of African descent. We expanded that program, and we did it in ways based upon what the research told us. It had initially been a pure PhD program, but research was telling us we were missing students who were at the master's level. We expanded that to include master's students to get more students into the pipeline. We also went around the country and really marketed our programs very strongly to make that happen. I replicated that here at the University of South Carolina and expanded it. Now, because I'm provost, we're starting a postdoctoral program to diversify our faculty ranks. And what I have tried to do here is to create a developmental pipeline. So I'm working with historically Black colleges in the state of South Carolina. We're doing 3-2 and 4-1 programs. We're also going to admit some students who are going to be in what I would call scaffolding or boot camp programs. All those students will be fully funded. And then we will try to leverage them and put them into our Grace McFadden Scholars Program for master's and PhD students, thus pipelining them in. And then those students who wish to stay will be eligible for the postdoc program. We're going to grow our own faculty here because the excuse about there's nobody in the pipeline is not one I could accept. And so we just built our own using the budget process and the reallocation processes here. I'm very excited about that. And to be frank, I tried to do this in the SEC, but I didn't get a whole lot of support other than from your provost, who actually was supportive of it. Everybody else in the SEC backed off, not kicking them to the curb on the recording, but that was the fact. And so I'm excited, and that gave me really another reason why I was excited about having this conversation, because we were like minds on that front.
Thank you, Dr. Tate.
Ms. Slaughter, would you please ask the next question?